welcome back to Chapter 3. So with this entire series, my aim is to make Skyrim more like a novelised story. As in, it's not told by one character, the Dragonborn. It's told by many different kinds of characters from all different walks of life, from different races and different allegiances and all that sort of stuff, from the good, the bad, and the in-between. Not all of these are going to be groundbreaking. A lot of these are just going to be quest-orientated, where it will just be a quest that I will try and turn into a little bit of a chapter. Not all of them will be great and big, not all of them will be important, but still it's their stories, and it's a kind of continuation of their stories, a kind of what makes them a character. And so even smaller things like a quest you might find in a dungeon, I will cover that into a chapter. And yeah, so this would be chapter 3. It's not going to be big, it's not going to be great, it's just going to be a story that continues our last character, Freya. And anyway, I hope you enjoy.
Chapter 3, Nightmares. The date is the 30th of Second Seed, and it starts as a normal day. I get ready to go out and find work. I make the trip to Whiterun since it's the closest place to find bounty post. Skyrim is a natural beauty. There is no place I would rather be. In the open with the cold air on my skin. The roads aren't really safe anymore, with this talk of rebellion and the East separating itself from the Empire. Many times have I seen rebel and Imperial war parties have battle on the roads, but I personally don't care for either side. I'm not your typical Nord. I don't care which side wins, as long as I'm allowed to live my way.
What do you want?
This one smelled familiar. Is he a wolf too? I think I'm a little too wild for the companions. Whiterun is by far the best city in Skyrim. Its location makes for a perfect temperature, and it has much game for the hunt, but the city is as about old as the Nords themselves. I found a bounty up north. I really hate the Pale. It's by far the coldest place in all of Skyrim. I try my very best to dodge the place, but I needed the work, and there was plenty of sunlight left, so I decided to head north. I heard bandits screaming. Then I saw one of them run away, while 3 others preyed upon her. Bandits might be scum, but I hate an unfair fight. Speak, or I'll cut you down where you stand. I was part of the gang in the ruins here. Friend of mine went crazy and stole the boss's sword. I convinced her to not throw her life away by trying me. She told me about her friend who was in trouble, and I convinced her to help out. Be the first time I had a bandit help me against their own kind. I guess I didn't kill her because I thought she was beautiful. A pretty woman could get me to do anything.
Yeah, he's after Rajir. Never seen him so angry.
I've got a bad feeling about this. Something's just felt wrong down there lately.
Freya sounded as crazy as the cat. Going on about the pale lady news. What was that?
I'll try and make this quick.
Finally, someone came. The cat. Rajir ambushed me.
I found my bounty, but he was already beat. He died in front of me, so I took his head. Then we went further to find her friend. We found him. The fool was charging a wisp mother on his own. The poor fool got himself killed. The blade looked ancient, but from what I understood, all this madness happened because of this blade. I wanted nothing to do with it, so my bandit companion took it. The sun was setting and the temperature dropping. The closest place was Dawnstar, which had an inn and a big fire. Isa was done with her bandit's days and thought to become a mercenary. She would accompany me to Dawnstar.
Unless you're here to solve this nightmare problem, I don't need you. Excellent. You've done us a great service. Here is your
I would
reward.
get my pay and split some of it with Isa. While in town, I heard a lot of talk on nightmares. It seemed the entire population was having nightmares.
The entire town is being plagued by horrible nightmares. They're in serious danger, but I'm afraid there's little I can do about it. These dreams are manifestations created by the Daedric Lord, Vermina. She has an awful hunger for our memories. In return, she leaves behind nightmares. Unlike a cough marks a serious illness. I must end her terrible influence over these people before the damage becomes permanent.
I talked to this priest of Mara, who told me it was the Daedric Prince of Nightmares, Vermina. There was only one person I knew who was an expert at dealing with Daedric problems. The woman who raised and trained me, Cecilia. I sent her word, and got some rest until she would arrive.
The date is the 31st of Second Seed. I had received word from Freya that Dawnstar was in trouble from a Daedric threat, that the Prince of Nightmares Vermina was preying on the people of Dawnstar.
To Nightcall a temple. Perhaps you'd be willing to assist me in that regard. I've already said too much. If anyone overhears what we're saying, it could start a panic. I would simply ask that you trust me and help me end Dawnstar's nightmares.
I had spent most of my life hunting Daedra and their worshippers, to then end up raising one myself. The priest told me that the tower above Dawnstar was home to a Daedric cult, but he was holding something back. There was more to his story he wasn't telling me. Freya and myself arrived to clear out frostbite spiders so it was safer for the priest.
Before we enter, I must warn you about the dangers that could be lurking within. Years ago, this temple was raided by an orc war party seeking revenge. They were being plagued by nightmares just like the people of Dawnstar. No. Knowing they could never defeat the orcs, the priests of Vermina released what they called the miasma, putting everyone to sleep. I'm concerned that when this place is unsealed, the miasma will dissipate and they'll awaken. Both orcs and
One thing I was
priests
happy to
alike.
hear, that these Daedric cultists would wake back up, so I could then put them into a
Vermina
proper,
resides
eternal
in
sleep.
a strange realm known as Quagmire, a nightmarish land where reality shifts upon itself in seemingly impossible ways. From her citadel at the center, she reaches forth to collect our memories, leaving nothing in return, apart from visions of horror and despair. Give me just a moment, and I'll have this open. Now I can show you the source of the nightmares. Over here, behold the Skull of Corruption.
The Staff of Corruption was a twisted staff. I witnessed the Holy Crusader use it on bandits. Back then, it used to create a nightmare version of the person it struck. The Priest of Mara wanted to destroy it. That was a worthy quest I would aid in, to rid Tamriel of such evil creations.
Activated this barrier when the miasma was released. Impossible, actually. I wonder. There may be a way to bypass the barrier, but I must check their library and confirm it can be done. Our suppose there's no point in concealing the truth any longer. My knowledge of this temple comes from personal experience. I was a priest of Vermina.
I knew he was hiding something. He was a Daedric cultist. But at the end of the day, he turned away from such evil.
Or should have.
Just like Martin Septim did. Turned away from the Daedra and returned to the Divines.
Or fled. Or left my brothers and sisters behind to die. Or spent the last years seeking redemption from harm. By her benevolence, I will right my wrongs.
He was here to right his wrongs, and I would aid in that pursuit.
Whenever you're ready, let's move on.
The cultist and orcs would wake from their dreams. I had no quarrel against the orcs, but years of nightmares had turned them crazed, and I had to put them down with the cultist.
We fight to the last.
If it's a fight you want, you fought it. Get here!
I had found this book, and it tells of a potion that could let you travel through your dreams. That's impossible.
Let me take a look. Mara be praised. There is a way past the barrier to the inner sanctum. It involves a recipe for a liquid known as Vermina's torpor. Yes, the torpor grants an ability the priests of Vermina called the Dream Stride, using dreams to travel distances in the real world. I assure you, the Dream Stride is well known in Verminian lore. Sadly, I have yet to see it function in person. I believe there is a laboratory in the East Wing. If we proceed there, we should be able to locate a sample.
Every room was filled with cultists and orcs to kill. If there was one thing I loved doing, was killing cultists of horrible Daedric princes. Mortals that would turn on their own people to please a Daedra that cares nothing for them, that saw them as an ant. It was sickening. I had to take this potion, since it couldn't hurt me, being that I was undead.
So, I've taken us this far, but you need to guide us the rest of the way.
I would never risk Freya's mind over some Daedric alchemy.
We must hold. We can't allow the skull to fall into their hands.
No more than a handful of us remain, brother.
Then we have no choice. The miasma must be released.
Yes, but brother,
We have no alternative. It's the will of their leader. And what about you, Brother Casimir? Are you prepared to serve the will of Vermina? Then it's decided. Brother Casimir, you must activate the barrier and release the miasma. Let nothing stop you.
I took this vile liquid, and there I was, seeing through somebody else's eyes. I was right there. It was like I was there, in the past living it. And when I pulled the lever, I was right there. I traveled around the fort in a dream? How is that even possible? Trust a Daedra to create something so unnatural.
You vanished after drinking the torpor and materialized on the other side. I've never seen anything quite like it. The inner sanctum lies ahead. We must reach the skull and put an end to Dawnstar's troubles. Get on, my friend. priest of Mars. You're a traitor. You left us to die and ran before the miasma took you. No, I was scared. I wasn't ready.
The cult leaders were still alive. I was going to enjoy this. As it turns out, that dream I was in, it was the Maras priest dreams. I was him. How much more strange could it get? They froze me and the priest with their foul magic, but unlucky for them. They had to deal with a rage-inducing Nord with a big axe. Freya made easy work of them. Only wish I could have seen the light in their eyes go out.
The skull must be destroyed. If you'll stand back, I'll perform the ritual granted to me by Lady Mara.
We looked at each other, both tired but proud of what we had done. I was just happy to witness such an evil thing destroyed.
I call upon you, Lady Mara. The skull hungers. It yearns for memories and leaves nightmares in its wake. Grant me the power to break through this barrier and to send the skull to the depths of oblivion.
He's deceiving you. When the ritual's complete, the skull will be free, and then Arinder will turn on you. Quickly, kill him now. Kill him and claim the skull for your own. Vermina commands you.
This Daedric bitch thought she could command me. She and her staff can rot in oblivion.
My intention was to spend the rest of my years here, burying the past and praying for forgiveness. But instead, I wish to offer my services to you. If you ever wish to journey with me,
It was done.
I'll be here.
The staff of corruption would not harm another mortal for some time,
no need to thank
and the
me.
priest was redeemed.
What you did
Both
was
me and
complete
Freya had
Dawnstar.
gained friends we could call on
If
in the
anyone
time
should
of
be
need.
that, it should be you.
The sun was rising, but the weather was bad. I would have been okay in that. But Freya needed to be somewhere warm. Luckily, my home was nearby, where she grew up. There is nobody I care more about than Freya. For 180 years, I was on my own until I found her. I raised her, I fed her, I trained her. She was the daughter I never had. She is now a year older than I was when I was turned. I hope she gets to live to a ripe old age, but I fear that'll be there on her last days. I don't think I could go through that. But I would care for her no matter what, as a cranky child and a crabby old woman. I could never turn her into a vampire even if she wanted to. Her being pure-born means she is and always will be a werewolf. So if I'm still here when she is old, I'll have to lay her to rest. But for now, I'm happy she is alive and healthy and making her mark in the world, and I'll be there whenever she needs me. And I hope she'll always call for me when she is in need.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I was going to make it short, but I didn't like it. So I thought myself in Dawnstar and I thought, that's a Daedric quest. And Cecilia's perfect for that quest, so I thought I'd add her in. Also showing off the whole idea of a multiple character playthrough. That it's not just me changing race menu, it's me changing character completely. From one to another. I play them both, and I play a lot more. So the whole idea of this entire story works with this framework of building a character and then jumping between them. So it's a little bit, more complicated. It's not super complicated. I use a mod called Alternate Actors. It allows me to do exactly that. Switch from character to character. And it sort of enables this entire playthrough with the whole idea of all walks of life, from good to bad to in between. I will play these characters, and when I'm not playing as them, they'll be followers, or there'll be people out there doing their thing, and then I can just run up to them, zoop, jump into them, play as them, jump out, jump into another. That's the whole idea of this entire thing, and this is what really birthed my multiple character playthrough together. Inspirations, there's no inspirations behind this. I just really wanted to show off finally the dual characters, Cecilia and Freya, put them together, but show you how I do it. That they're not just two, it's not just the race menu I jump into, an inventory I chuck in my inventory. It's two different characters altogether, have their own gear, have their own leveling, have their own everything, their own spells. One's a werewolf, one's a vampire. That I've got to manually change with Moonlight Tales, and better vampires, manually change them over. At the moment, I'm not either, so I can either jump into Freya and finish my bounty hunting jobs, or I can run around and just jump back into being a vampire and, you know, become the Dark Knight. I am vengeance. I hunt at night. I kill bad guys. Or he doesn't really kill bad guys, does he? Yeah, so my entire thing that I really wanted to show off was the dual characters. It was going to be short. It was going to be like 8 minutes. That's how long that bounty hunter mission took. But I didn't want to do a full, like, you know, like a video. I didn't want to fuck around with the video and edit it just for an 8-minute video of her hunting bounties. We know what she does. We get that. She's talked about it. I don't want to do a complete video on it, unless, of course, say I've been doing this for at least 6 months, you know, this video series, and I might update it to show what they're doing in the background while other characters are doing their thing. So it kind of reminds you that they're still there doing their thing. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's probably my longest chapter, but I'm always learning, trying new things. I'm going to be playing it as the story as like gameplay. I'm not going to try it being cinematic like Cecilia's first one was, where it was all like the UI was hid and all that sort of stuff. I do want to run around and enjoy the game and play it, because again, if I'm not enjoying it, I'm not doing this stuff. I do want to tell you a story, but first I want to enjoy the story, and I can't do that if I'm continuously, you know, I got no UI, I'm not picking up stuff I want to pick up, and I got to replay just to be able to play it again. That's silly. So the whole idea amongst this is going to be, I'm going to be playing it, I'm just going to be cutting out all the useless shit and cutting down all the time that I can to make it somewhat enjoyable for you to watch, and for telling a story. The next chapter I want to do is based on a new character. I want to start the guild quest. And this is kind of my idea of the whole recording the story came through with this character, but she was the very last guild character that I did last time. This time, she's going to be the start, and it's not going to start off exactly as a guild character. I don't want my guild character to start off exactly as guild characters. We're going to have some opening up introduction quests on kind of who they are and what they do before they end up in a guild. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed it. I'm out of here. Peace out. Look after yourselves. Catch ya.